Welcome to the PLT podcast, everybody. Tess Daly. Woo!
Hello. Hi.
Babes, I've been waiting for this moment for so long. I'm so glad you're here.
I know. I mean, we're not here, as in like here, but we're here.
I know, this is the thing, like, we were so excited to meet each other in headquarters, because I feel like me and you've been chatting for years. I've always spoke to you since, like, I can remember my journey at PLT since it began. I've always chatted to you, and we've always wanted to get you into the HQ and do this podcast, but, you know, 2020 is just really not having us right now, is it?
Rona permitting,
Rona permitting, that's it. Like, well, Rona permitting, hopefully once Rona's all over, we can get you into the HQ and we can meet in person properly. But for now, this is amazing. So thank you so much for joining us.
No, thank you for having me. I'm very excited.
How has your lockdown and everything been for you? So I know, obviously, it's been a manic time for everybody and it's taken some adjusting. But how has it been for you personally, Tess?
Strange, quite different, I think, to a lot of like other experiences. It's been a little bit more strict than other people. I keep saying this, and I literally feel like people are like, yeah, we know. I haven't been out the house I've been out the house 5 times since March the 8th. And I literally do remember the date. Like, it's like an anniversary of being out the house. So. Yeah. But yeah, I'm here. I'm fine. I'm thriving. I'm healthy.
See, that's it. We all kind of like, I mean, obviously, like, Corona for everybody, it's impacted everybody's lives. But to be like, you know, I appreciate that is a lot worse than my situation. You know, at the minute I can kind of leave and do whatever. And that is because you're high risk, isn't it? Is that right?
Yeah, like, and technically I was like one of the people that was shielding. And although we got told that we didn't have to shield anymore, I would say that quite a large portion of the population are still shielding, because we know our limits, we know what we will and won't fare well with. So although I think the world thinks people are not shielding anymore, there are a lot of people still shielding.
Yeah, so. And it's definitely something people need to know, especially when they're going out, you know, to be careful and everything.
Yeah,
in this kind of climate,
like,
you know, there is still
I feel for the average person because it's infuriating. You know, wearing masks is not nice. It's a restriction, but at the end of the day, it's just kind of a bit of give and take, isn't it? Because there are still people like me that are just not going anywhere. So
yeah. So there we go. It's good for us to remember that. Do you know what I mean? Because that's it. I think, you know, we kind of feel like the world's getting back to normal. And then, I mean, at the minute it's changing again. All the restrictions are changing. So it's good to remember that. But today, Tess, the episode is all about being confident. And you're somebody who thrives confidence. You know, you're a role model on Instagram to so many of your followers. So we wanted to get to know everything about you and your journey from how you've got to like where you are now and how you're so confident and how you kind of implement confidence into your daily life. So...
yeah,
like every single podcast, we're going to start at the beginning. I'm blown away by your makeup tutorials. Like everybody who follows you on Instagram, your makeup is insane. And I'm going to talk about that in a second. But like I said, let's go to the beginning and tell us a little bit just about your background and kind of where you grew up, where you went to school, like how your upbringing was.
Okay, so like I went to a mainstream school, even though I've got a severe disability. My parents, you know, didn't think it appropriate for me to go to a special needs school. So I went to an ordinary school. Growing up, I absolutely loved art. Like I really, really, really loved art, and I wanted to be a fashion designer. Like it's something I've always wanted to do. However, unfortunately, my right hand actually decided to just die on me during my GCSEs. So I've gone from doing double art for my GCSE because obviously that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to be in fashion. To now I can't even sign my own name on a birthday card. Like literally Moonpig makes a lot of money out of me. That's all I'm going to say because I can't sign birthday cards. So I realised after that, like, maybe sketching fashion and drawing and that might not be realistic for you. So I ended up taking psychology and sociology at my A-levels.
So I believe.
Bit of a career change, I know.
Yeah, definitely.
And then not a lot of people actually know this, but I then went on to university to do criminology and psychology. Again, not really done very much with that, but you know, it's there, it's under my belt.
Yeah, sure.
But when I graduated, I realised like I do want to be in fashion. It's where I see myself. Like I don't want to do this like office. It wasn't for me physically or mentally. It weren't for me. So I ended up pursuing a career in fashion styling, and I did that for like a few years. I did some like behind the scenes work on, I don't know if you remember the TV program Gawk's Fashion Fix.
Yes, of course. Oh my God, I still love Gawk.
Chunky necklaces.
Absolutely loved that show. I lived for
it. So yeah, I did like a bit of behind the scenes work on that, and it just kind of started from there. I'm cutting a lot out here, but I'm trying to keep it like succinct. But I did that for a few years, really enjoyed it, but it became more of an expensive hobby than it did like a viable career choice. Particularly living up north, because like although Manchester's like thriving now and it's definitely like a centre of the fashion industry, it wasn't when I was doing this up north. It was like mainly London. So then I just fell into Instagram, and
here you are.
What happened.
I mean, I'm gonna take it back because there's so many interesting like parts of your journey that I want to kind of delve into. And you know, starting at your very beginning, you were diagnosed at 18 months with spinal muscular atrophy type 2. Can you explain for our listeners, if they don't know you and they're not familiar with you, what this is and kind of how it affects you as a person?
Yeah, so it's a muscle wasting disorder. It's not the same as like being paralysed. Like I've had a lot of like news articles and things written that she's paralysed, she's this, she's that. It's totally different. Like I've got full feeling. I have got control over like all my limbs, etc. I am just essentially very, 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 very weak. Like I can't sit without my headrest, my strap on, holding me upright. I can't. It is easier to tell you the things that I can do for myself than the things that I can't do. So I can do certain elements of my own makeup. I can use my mobile phone, and I can feed myself using a piece of equipment that I very fondly call my bionic arm. So yeah, but the rest of it is done by a team of amazing carers. Massive shout out to them because they're all literally like my angels. But yeah, like I don't really have much ability to do much physically, but it is what it is. It's fine.
Yeah. And you were diagnosed obviously so young. Like, what do you, like, can you remember much from that time? And like, what do your kind of family tell you about that period of your life? Like when you were diagnosed at 18 months?
God, do you know, the thing that I always like talk about, when my mum first took me to the doctors when I was really young, they actually just said, oh, don't worry, she's a lazy baby. She'll soon start walking. She'll soon start crawling. She'll do this, she'll do that. Just wait. And then I had a muscle biopsy where my mum was like, no, really, like, nothing's happening. Like, she should be crawling by now. She should be doing this, she should be doing that. And they did a muscle biopsy, and that's when they found out that I got spinal muscular atrophy type 2. So, yeah, I've driven a wheelchair since then. I was lethal. My parents probably had, like, bruises left, right, and centre. But, yeah, it was just, I don't really remember much of it because that's so young.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't really remember much, like, because it's just normality for me. Like, it is just what it is. Like, it was just a general childhood. It was quite a nice childhood, really.
Oh, I'm glad to hear that, because that was one of the questions I kind of wanted to ask was, you know, you said that you went to a mainstream school. Your parents were passionate about not sending you to a special needs school. So how was your experience in, you know, high school, for instance? Was it all happy memories?
Yeah, I mean, happy memories. I probably got bullied as much as the next kid did. No more, no less. It was never really down to my disability. It was due to a band of quite obnoxious girls, but whatever. But yeah, literally, I don't have a very remarkable childhood. You know what I mean? It was quite nice. It was generally quite easy. I went on nice holidays. I did this, I did that. I definitely can't complain. I mean, one thing that I do remember, like, from childhood, which I don't have as much now, as an adult, I was admitted quite a lot to hospital with chest infections. And I was on a ventilator when I was really young. Hence the reason I'm so careful with coronavirus, because I've been on a ventilator. That stuff is not nice. I don't ever want to do that again. So, that's... But I kind of, it's weird because you don't really grow out of these things. When you get older, it should be the other way around. You get weaker, if anything. But I think with, like, adulthood has come knowledge. It's become practice with dealing with these things. I know my own body really well. I know what to do in these situations now. So, that's kind of the one downside I'd say about like growing up with SMA. Like I had a lot of hospital admissions, but other than that, it was peachy.
But I'm glad. But that's it. I'm glad to hear that you had a happy childhood and you've got all fond memories. That's obviously the best thing anyone can kind of wish for, is to have a nice upbringing and a happy upbringing. And obviously you spoke before about your university. You're going to university doing psychology, and then along came the fashion styling, which I know I've seen through your Instagram. I've scrolled all the way back, babes, and I've seen all of your kind of fashion styling things. I didn't actually realise you did.
Yeah, and then, it's weird, isn't it?
And then along came makeup, which right now is something on your Instagram. You're known for your looks, for your makeup, and for your amazing outfits. When did you first kind of realise makeup could be a creative outlet to you?
So up until I was about 26, I wasn't physically able to do my own makeup, like at all.
Right.
Because spinal muscular atrophy is not particularly a progressive thing, as in you don't get worse and it doesn't like harm your health. It's because you get older and you get taller, your limited amount of energy is spread over a bigger area, and you do get slightly weaker in terms of things like that as you get older. Like it is progressive in that sense. So when I was like 19 and stuff, I could do a bit of mascara here, a bit of mascara there. Don't get me wrong, I looked absolutely tragic. It was bad. It really annoys me that kids these days don't have that ugly phase.
They're so good.
Why?
They're so good.
Anyway.
Like honestly, if you didn't have that phase, like you are so lucky. My makeup when I was a teenager was the worst. Like I can't even look back at teenage photos. They're that bad.
Good.
It was a learning curve. Do you know what I mean? It's been a learning curve. It's still a learning curve for me.
And nobody should come out of the womb brilliant at eyebrows, but these days, I swear to God, kids are like amazing. And anyway, but whatever. I'm not bitter. I swear. I've gone on a right tangent here.
So we're talking about when it kind of became a thing for you.
I used to be able to do like aspects, and then I just wasn't able to do it anymore.
Right.
It didn't happen overnight, but it just kind of was. So like every time I was going out, every time I did something, I was paying for makeup artists to do my makeup. It got like a bit of an addiction. And then I actually saw on a friend's Facebook account that she got this thing called a bionic arm that was basically like a thing that moves your arm. There's videos and stuff on my my Instagram page, and from there I kind of taught myself little aspects of like my makeup again. So I was able to do like my mascara, I was able to put some lipstick on, and I used that for a few months, and now I don't actually have to use it anymore. Now I've like mastered a way of doing it without it. But I basically documented like my improvement on Instagram. I wanted to like document my journey, not for anyone else. I wasn't like, oh, look at me, I'm an influencer, follow me. It was literally just so that I could see if I was getting better.
The progress,
and things just kind of like spiraled from there, because I was tagging brands and I was hashtagging, and then I started directing it more to strangers rather than like my family, and just kind of snowballed really. So that's kind of how it all
It really has. It really has snowballed for you. And something like I find amazing is that you completely taught yourself how to do makeup. And I mean, to teach like yourself, I wondered how did you teach yourself? Did you use like YouTube videos? Was there people you looked up to at the time? How were you kind of learning how to do your whole face? And you even taught your carers, I believe, as well.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I've had a lot of people doing my makeup for years prior to that. And I've got a lot of like quite good makeup artist friends now that I was literally like, oh, what are you doing with that? What product is it?
Tips.
What brush is it? Talk me through it. And that, like, I was addicted to watching YouTube videos. Like, I literally follow so many people. I've always been interested in makeup and never been able to physically do it. So like I followed people already, and then when I did find this way of being able to do it, I'd already got people like to look up to and copy and try and emulate. So yeah, that's just kind of like how it started. But like my carers, I've got a few of my makeup artist friends to like give them lessons and show them how to do my skin. But I'm really lucky because a lot of the girls that actually work for me are really into this stuff anyway. So they're always like, yeah, I'm willing to do that. And they watch YouTube videos and they're into these products and they follow these people. So I am really lucky that they're not like, ugh, makeup,
You've got a good team around you. That's what you need. Your glam squad. And so you mentioned your Instagram, you started posting kind of just for your friends and family in the beginning. When did you decide, okay, I'm going to kind of make a go of this, I'm going to start posting seriously, I'm going to start posting my makeup and my outfits seriously? And how were you feeling at that time? Were you anxious or nervous at all about beginning to do that?
I remember the first post that ever got me like a lot of followers. It was Anastasia Beverly Hills. She reshared a picture, and she obviously, it's a makeup page. She usually just shares faces because it's makeup, obviously. She actually shared a full length picture of me, so obviously that stuck out like a sore thumb. So when I saw it, I was like, "What the hell? I've got 3,000 new followers in an hour. What's going on here?"
Stop.
So I saw it, and I was like, "Oh my god!" And I saw there was absolutely hundreds of comments, and I was so scared to read them. Like, I was terrified because I was like, oh my god, what if they're absolutely annihilating me? And I read them, and I'm not even joking, it was like 98% positive. Like, I was just really overwhelmed, like happy reading them, because I was scared. Like, obviously it's never happened before, so I was like, loads of strangers see me, what's the reaction going to be? And it was really positive. So that definitely filled me with like loads of confidence, definitely.
I can't believe, just in an hour you got 3,000 new followers. And that's the thing, that's the power of social media, is, being supported by brands and, makeup brands, fashion brands, reposting your content. That's how kind of growth begins, I guess.
Yeah,
as well as great content, because I mean the content's been amazing since day one. Do you know what I mean?
Well,
so that's obviously
I don't know about that. I thought you'd stroll back. Don't lie to me, Natalie.
Babes, I've loved it all, but no, I mean, that's it. I think one of the things you mentioned there was, you went over to the comment section, and that's a massive thing with social media, is unfortunately people have got, they think that they can comment anything they want to. So I just wondered what your experience has been like with kind of comments and maybe negative comments on social media. Have you had to experience much negativity, or is that something that you don't really like experience on your page?
Yeah, I mean, I think anybody that puts themselves out there, unfortunately, in 2020, you can be the juiciest peach on the entire planet, and someone ain't gonna like peaches. Do you know what I mean? Like, that is the way I see it.
I like the way you say that. I like that.
Everybody gets it. Everyone, no matter who you are. You could be the world's most perfect person, and you would still get some idiot in the comments. So, absolutely, yeah. I have had a fair share of crappy comments. I now don't let it bother me. I had one major incident where it really did bother me. I had a video made about me by like a TV channel, and they put it on their YouTube that's got like millions of followers, and they, for some stupid reason, decided to title it "Disabled Makeup Artists Can Blend Better Than You." And I was like, I mean, are you asking for a fight? Are you asking for people to hate me? Like, that's so abrasive. Like, why would you put that? All right. So I was like, all right, okay. Went into the comments, and they were absolutely vile. If I didn't have a thicker skin, I just don't know. Like, because there was stuff like, she might be able to blend better than me, but she can't walk, so joke's on her. There was like my shoes in the background, and they were like, why in God's name has she got so many shoes? She can't even effing walk. What's the point? Like, she's on benefits paying for all these shoes. It was horrid. And it was comment after comment, and I was like, right, okay.
I'm like, just for everybody listening, I mean, I know Tess can see my face here, but like, I'm speechless. Like, that's something that's always really got me as well, that for somebody to write that, like, what is going through their mind to write that? Like, it's just, I mean, it's not acceptable whatsoever. And like you said, why the brand titled the video that, I have no idea.
They knew what they were doing. I'm like, you know that you were sensationalising. You know you were antagonising people. You knew what response you were going to get from that. And I had a real good talk with myself in my head, and was like, right, this is what these people are, and this is why you're never going to let it affect you again. So now, when I get trolls, I'm just like, oh, try harder. I have had such... Come on. come on, is that the worst you've got? Like, literally, please. So, like, now it doesn't bother me, but it's like not everyone's like that, and it's like,
well, that's
we
it.
shouldn't have to be like that.
Yeah,
that's
it.
I mean? It's mad.
How have you kind of overcome looking at a negative comment and taking it personally? Like, do you still take it personally? I mean, I don't think there's ever a time when you can't take it personally whatsoever, but how have you built yourself to be so strong and like confident in yourself where they don't hurt you any longer? Or have you?
Do you know, I don't actually know, because it's like a switch flicked in my head. Like, now I'm literally like, the way I think about it is, do I have any friends, or do I know anyone in the world, do I actually know them, speak to them, who I think would troll? Do I know anyone that would troll? No. Do you know why? Because I don't want to be friends with those type of people.
I think we can all kind of agree that there's no space for trolls. So yeah, I think it's good to hear that you don't take those comments, to heart, and that you've learned to kind of be confident within yourself. And I think that's something that a lot of people, probably need help with, in a sense, is learning how to not take those kind of comments and things personally, because unfortunately social media, it's a great place for so many things, but it can be such a dark place for, negativity, and for other people that
definitely
don't really know how to not take it personally. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, so many people message me and they're like, because I do every now and again put like screenshots up of like what trolls say. Every now and again, don't get me wrong, I'm not like making a habit of it. And so many people message me to say, don't give them attention, don't do this, don't do that. And I reply and say, look, I'm not doing this because I want pity. In fact, the way I narrate it, the last thing I want is pity. Like, I find it hilarious. But what I do is I do it so that I can show other people that this is how I deal with it. This is normal, because unfortunately that's what 2020 is. People think it's normal to troll. And you're not alone if you're getting this. And so many people like message me and say, I'm really grateful for you showing that. I get it, and it's helping me deal with it, and it's making me change my mindset. So sometimes it takes seeing other people dealing with the same stuff as you to make you think, right, okay.
Tess, you've built such a huge platform for yourself. You've got over 200,000 Instagram followers now. How amazing. Like, where do you think that's kind of like, when did it all start to really take off? Was it that moment when you started taking beauty pictures? Do you think it was when you started posting the picture with Anastasia Beverly Hills? Is that when it really started to snowball, or was it a while after that still?
I think it was when Anastasia posted me like on her page, like things just started moving a little bit from there. Like, don't get me wrong, it wasn't like an avalanche overnight. It's a very slow thing. Like, I think people have got this like misconception that influencers just get really famous overnight, and my God, it's took me absolutely years to get where I am. But slowly, like, brands just started noticing me, and whether that's because I'm disabled, whether it's because they just like me, like, it's a mix of different things. It's not one thing. Like, it is, I am realistic. I know that there's not many people that do what I do that are as severely disabled as I do. Don't get me wrong, there are quite a few. I could list them all. There's more than people would think, but we are very outnumbered by our peers. So I know I'm unusual, and brands are trying to be more diverse. So I know that is why as well I've become more of a recognised face, if that makes sense.
Something you've touched upon there is something I really want to talk about, is representation of disabled models and figures within the fashion and beauty industry. How do you feel right now currently about how you're being represented within these industries?
I do think the representation is growing. It's definitely getting better, don't get me wrong. I do still feel a little bit like people are treating us like we're unicorns, or really rare, like seldom creatures that exist in far-flung corners of the world. Like, we really don't. We're very easy to get hold of. Because a lot of people like say, how can brands work with more disabled people? How can they do? Just messages.
Just work.
We exist. We're out there. We're doing it. Like,
exactly.
I definitely feel like it's on the rise. Unfortunately, the cine system, it doesn't know whether it's a trend, because this does happen every couple of years. People start taking note that disabled people do exist, and you'll see one in a campaign, you'll see one on TV, and then it all goes quiet again. And then something else happens, and diversity becomes a trend again. So we shall see. I mean, I personally am going nowhere. I'm just doing my thing regardless of being disabled. Like, it's a footnote in what I do. But there are advocates out there. There are people that want more diversity. We're really easy to access. Like, brands don't have to work that hard. Do you know what I mean?
Just ask. Yeah,
just
no, I completely
knock on door
appreciate
and be
that.
like, hey, we'd like you in this campaign. And we'll be like, sure, cool.
Yeah, perfect.
Like,
let's work that out. Not a problem.
It's easy as that.
I think that's really a really great way. You know, that is it. What it is, isn't it? It's not hard. It is easy. Like it's something that every brand and every beauty brand, fashion brand should, you know, be open to having everybody and celebrating every single body in person. You know, do you know what I mean?
And I probably get shouted at from a lot of my peers for this, but I'm far more realistic than some. You know, I don't think we need to appear in every billboard. I don't think we need to be on every TV campaign, every advert, every this, every that. We just need to be dotted around in a few. There needs to be an equal sprinkling of disabled people here and there. Do you know what I mean?
The representation needs to be there, because I think, like, Tess, like, when you were growing up, who did you kind of, like, look up to?
No one.
And
no one.
Wow, that's exactly what it's all about. And I think the thing is, Tess, you now, I know it's a title that you weren't sure of in the beginning. I'd like to see how you feel now, but you now are a role model to so many, and I know that so many of your followers look up to you, and you know you inspire them. But that's what it's all about, because at the end of the day, every child, every person growing up, and even now to today, to whatever age you are, should have somebody to be able to look up to and feel inspired by, and feel like, you know, that you can relate to them.
Yeah, and because social media makes that so easy as well. Like, you don't need to be on TV or in Vogue now to be accessible. We've all got platforms. YouTube exists. So it's just about, you know, making those people accessible. Like, making brands share them. You know, brands share hundreds of pictures a day on social media. It's not hard to sneak a disabled person in there. It's not hard to sneak a boy in makeup. It's not hard to sneak a person of colour in there. But there are so many brands still that are whitewashed, that are ableist, they're just stuck in the prehistoric ages. And it's like, it's really, take it from somebody who does social media, it's really not hard to be diverse. It's really not rocket science. So yeah, it just blows my mind, really. Like,
and I know it's something that you do speak about at length online and within your channel. So do you get loads of messages from people kind of, you know, wanting to speak to you about it, or like from followers or fans, you know, reaching out to you about the topic?
Yeah, definitely. Like, I get so many people that are like, because of you, I've gone out and bought eyelashes. Because of you, I now wear heels. I was too scared before because people would stare at me. Because of you, this, because of you, that. And I'm like, it's mad, because I used to literally vomit at the word inspirational. Like, I hate it. I can't stand it. But then, like you've just said, did you have anyone to look up to when you were younger? No, I didn't. No, I straight up didn't. And now I've got like a girl that sticks that in my mind. She's a 14-year-old girl that follows me on Instagram, and she's got SMA. And she messaged me and was like, literally, you've changed my outlook on so many different things. And I just thought, shit, I wish I had that at 14.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't have that at 14. And I didn't have it. But social media has made it so easy to access people that are just like us. And I know I like cringe at myself, and I know I am that person now. Like, it's a bit mad, but I'm now okay with it. I weren't at first, because I was like, stop patronising me, stop calling me inspirational, stop this. But now I'm like, no, from a certain demographic of people, I'm all right with that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think that's the thing, when you break it down and speak about why, like, you know, for me to say you're a role model to so many is like what I said, like when you're younger, having someone to look up to and just to relate with, it's such a huge thing. It's like you say, like, something I always think about is, you know, when I was buying clothes as a teenager, I wanted to see what they looked like on someone like me. And that is, it can be as simple as that, really, can't it? Broken down. Like, I want to see somebody who is my shape, my size, or, you know, whatever that might be, to be able to relate and to be able to see how that works.
Definitely. Like, it's so funny because, like, one thing I get when I get shared on, like, brands pages, it will have happened on PrettyLittleThing. You will get people commenting and saying, oh, well, she's sat down. I can't see what the outfit looks like. And it's like, babe, do you ever sit down? Do you go for meals? Do you go for nights out where you sit down? Because surely you want to see what an item's going to look like sat down. Doesn't matter that I'm in a wheelchair. I wasn't aware that you could see the back of a dress anyway when someone stood up on a photo. But don't let me point out the obvious, you know what I mean? To see people just like you, I guess is refreshing, because I follow so many disabled influencers now that have changed even my perception and perspective on things. And I do this stuff, but the stuff that I wouldn't do if I hadn't seen other influencers do it. Like, I would never have made a makeup video because I was too embarrassed about the way that I sat and the way that I looked when I did it if I hadn't seen Jordan do it before me. And I was like, no, come on. If she can do it, you can do it. Like,
yeah.
So it does take seeing that person that's similar to yourself.
To kind of give you that confidence as well, I guess, to be able to, you know, it's like you say, you're not always feeling confident to do something, but if you do see someone else who does inspire you and you do look up to do it, it's like you say, you can be like, okay, well, I'll give it a go too. And that's what the great power of social media can be. Do you know what I mean? Like I said before, there is so many negatives, but there is positives there as well.
Oh God, yeah. They overwhelm the negatives. Like for me, the positives really do, and I must stress that point that the positives of social media completely and utterly outweigh the negatives. The negatives, unless I'm asked about them, just don't bother me. I couldn't give a crap. Like
good.
And
I'm really glad to hear
is
that.
Totally positive for me. Good. Definitely.
Good. And I mean, something you've spoken about as well, Tess, is how there's a stigma around disabled people and that they don't look after their appearance, which clearly couldn't be more wrong. But how hurtful is that for you to hear people saying that? And like, do these misconceptions...
Have you ever met a disabled person?
Yeah,
like,
come on.
Where did you get your information from? And even if people don't look after themselves, that are in wheelchairs, that don't care about fashion, don't care about makeup, there are other people like that as well. It's not just about
exactly.
being disabled.
Who cares? Who
God's
cares?
sake,
Not everybody likes makeup and not everybody likes fashion. But how annoying is that to hear these misconceptions being spoken about?
I just like roll my eyes inwardly and just like, God's sake. Like, I feel like people think it's my job to educate people. Because I exist and I'm in a wheelchair, it's my job to be Mary Sunshine 24/7 and set these people straight politely. I ain't got time for that. I have not got time for it. I don't profess to be an advocate. I don't profess to want to go around educating people on their lack of scope about those with a disability. Like, that's not me. So if I roll my eyes and call you an idiot and tell you to stop being so stereotypical, don't get mad with me. Like, literally don't get mad with me. Like,
no, I agree.
That would be like me getting face on with, assuming that a white male that's 25, what's the football scores? I don't know, I don't really like football. Why? You're a young white male.
Exactly. That's exactly what stereotyping is, yes. Yeah.
Like, it's literally that. And it's like, I'm not here to teach. I'm here to just exist. I can't change the fact that I'm in a wheelchair, so just get on with it and, you know, ignore it.
Exactly. And I mean, like Tess, it's something I love about you is you are so confident, and you are a positive energy. I mean, I love the fact that you'll snap back to trolls and you'll speak so openly. I think that's a great way to be. You're obviously upfront and honest. You know, you're an honest person. But to somebody who's not so confident and kind of maybe struggling with anything, kind of whether it be their confidence or their appearance, what kind of advice would you give them, like personally, on how to kind of love themselves?
The thing is, what I always think is you have got one life. Like, are you going to spend it mourning something whether it be about, like, obviously in my own case, we'll be talking about disability here. So are you going to spend it mourning over the fact that this is what life you could have had? These are what abilities you might have had if you weren't born with that disability or you weren't involved in that accident. Or are you just going to think, right, I've got one life here. This is what I have been given. I'm going to enjoy my life and not keep second besting everything, comparing myself to it. It's difficult. Everybody compares. But at the end of the day, you're only wasting your own life. And do you really want to do that? Like, literally suck it up, buttercup. And I know that sounds harsh, but you've just got to break that mindset. You're the only person that can break that mindset. I can't do it for you by giving you some magic words. You've literally just got to be happy with yourself and with what you've got. And
you've got to change your mindset and, you know, look at what affects you and how it affects you, I guess. So I think you're right. Like, I think you're completely right. I agree with you.
People need to not look outside themselves for validation. That comes 100%. Literally from within. So it's like, I can't change that. This is what I mean. I can't validate you by saying, well, I think you're incredible and I think you're gorgeous and I think you're talented. You have got to believe that and get to a point where you are happy with what you can do and with what you are and with what you look like, with what your abilities or perceived lack of abilities are. Only you can come to terms with that. So up until now, like for like, you know, your journey, who is kind of, or what has been your biggest inspiration? Has there been a particular moment or a particular person that's really inspired you over the years? I always go back to the same person. I always say Jordan Bone. She is paraplegic and she was the first person with a disability that I ever saw on camera doing her makeup. She's gorgeous, she's incredible, she's super talented. And I was like, right, I can do that one day. I can get there. And she just really, really pushed me. Like, she doesn't even really do makeup anymore, like on her YouTube, but she just really like inspired me. And I always say Jordan. She's like my go-to because she literally is the person that I was like, I want to do that.
She sounds amazing. I mean, that's it. I think we've all got to have, like I said before, you've all got to have somebody to look up to and somebody who inspires you. And I'm glad that she is that person. Have you ever met her?
I haven't met her in person. We speak like over Instagram and things. I've never actually met her in person. But yeah, she's lovely. She's just a really genuine soul as well. Like, she's just very positive. And it was years ago that I first saw her, and I was like, that's groundbreaking. Yeah. Like, don't get me wrong, she isn't the first person in the world that's in a wheelchair to do her makeup, but she was the first person that I saw, and I was like, that's gonna be burned into my memory forever. So. And
then here you are now killing the makeup game.
Honestly, she's tagged in everything. Like, every time I do something, I'm like, Jordan, 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 and now I'm like, yes, Jordan, I'm doing the makeup because of you.
And I think as well, something, I know that recently you were part of a big campaign for Isle of Paradise. Tell me about that moment for you, because I know that must have felt like a huge moment for you.
It was really huge because I'd always thought, I'm in a wheelchair, I can't do fake tan. It's one of them things I can't do. So Jules, who is the owner, he was very positive and was like, babe, why on earth wouldn't you be able to do it? Of course you can do it. And he tanned me for the first time, and I just felt amazing. Like, I was really scared because it was the first time I was ever going to be in public in my bra and knickers. That was huge for me, like really huge, because although I'm all right with myself in clothes and I'm quite confident, you know, my body is quite different to other people's, so I was really quite nervous and all that jazz. But it was so empowering. Like, I felt amazing, and now I'm an absolute tan addict. So
I love it.
Literally, I've got like a tuck shop of tan in my house because I'm literally obsessed with it now. So yeah, I learned something as well as felt fabulous.
I think one of the things about that campaign is, obviously, you know, I'm so glad that it empowered you, but it definitely empowered others. I'm sure that it has empowered so many other people and inspired so many.
Definitely. I still get messages to this day being like, I've bought fake tan. My carer put it on for me. Oh my God.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I'm like, impact. It can be done.
So you're still learning to know, because this is the thing, like I say, Tess, you're so confident in yourself and what you can do, but you're still kind of learning today that that's something that, was it maybe last year you hadn't done before, was fake tanning?
No, literally never. Like, I'm still doing stuff that I never thought I'd be able to do, like the whole lockdown situation. I never did my own skin before that, like with my makeup. I used to get like my carers to do it for me, and because when I went into lockdown with one of my carers who literally wouldn't know head from elbow, well, not so bad word, about like foundation, concealer, where to put contour, what to do with this. So I was like, right, I'm safe and I'm healthy and I'm shielding, that's great. But I can't do content anymore. I can't do my creative outlet. I'm going to go absolutely mental and I'm going to lose my mind, like literally lose my mind. So I just one day was like, right, I'm going to try and do it. And I tried. It looked horrific. I looked like I'd been rubbing like soil all over my face, but fine. I did it again. I tried it again. I tried it again. And now I can do it. And I never, ever, ever thought I'd be able to do that. Like, ever. I can put my own false lashes on now. I can stick my own diamantes on. I know it sounds like really small and people might be like, right, okay. But when you're this disabled, it's huge.
It doesn't at all. I can only imagine how amazing you must have felt in that moment to be able to do that. Because I think I read something about that, is that when, we did go into lockdown, you thought you weren't going to be able to carry on with your content. And I mean, that's your job. Like, that is not just your passion, it's your job, it's your life. Yeah. Like, so that is a huge thing. And I mean, yeah, wow.
I had 6 pieces of content saved up. So 3 Instagram videos, 3 pictures and 3 eye pictures. I had them saved up from before we went into lockdown. I've posted 3 of them.
Stop.
And I thought I was going to have to do 1 every 2 weeks to like spin my content out. I've only had to post 3 of them, and that was just because
Babes, I was about to say, that. I've seen that content fly, and I know that you've had loads more out since then, so
literally,
you're killing it.
It was like, oh, I've still got that content. I ought to probably use that at some point because it's quite good. But I've still not used it. I'm saving it for a rainy day.
There you go. You've got to always have a bank for a rainy day, for sure. Oh, well, Tess, like, you're obviously doing so well at the minute and killing the makeup scene and the fashion. What do you hope to kind of do next in the future? What are your plans? And dreams even. Like, what are your dreams to do next?
It's funny. I got an agent a couple of weeks ago. An agent? Who do I think I am?
Oh, come on. Hello. I'm excited.
Hello. Yeah, I'll pass you to my agent. And they were like, so where do you see yourself in 5 years? And I was like, I'll be honest with you. I want to be happy. I want to be in a nice house. I want to be surrounded by amazing friends and family. And I want to be financially stable. And they were like, right, okay, you're quite a blank slate then. I was like, yeah, that's literally all I want. Like, I want to enjoy what I'm doing. Of course, I'd love to keep growing. I want to keep doing my content. But I'm not going to turn around and be like, I want a brand. I want to own this. I want to do that. Because that's just superficial. I hope my strength remains, that I can carry on doing makeup. I hope I don't fluctuate anymore. Like, I don't envision goals like that because I just want to keep doing this. Like, I enjoy this. I want to do more of this, please. Like, what we're doing right now with PrettyLittleThing. If you told me 7 years ago I'd be doing this, I'd be like, talking about what? Like, I don't understand.
I love that though, Tess. I love that.
So this is what I want to do. I'm not going to be like, oh, I want to own this, I want to move here. I just want to do more of this. I want to keep doing this. So, yeah.
I think you do. I think that's really like powerful. I think you do know what you want. Like, to walk in to be able to be like, I want to be happy, I want to have good friends, and I want to be financially stable. Like, I mean, how many people can say that they know exactly what they want? I think that's great. I really can't wait to meet you in person, but today has been amazing sitting here and chatting to you and just getting to know everything about your journey and your hopes and dreams for the future, and just where you've got all of your confidence from. I think, like we said, you are a role model to so many, and I can't wait to continue watching you grow and killing everything that you're doing right now.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thanks.
Oh, well, Tess, it's been amazing.
Really
Thanks for joining us.
What to say. I'm like...
I know what. To be fair, I was like, Nat, you need to take a breather. You've just not shut up for about 5 seconds, and that was a long sentence from me. But yeah, I really mean it.
I'm getting an Oscar award. I was like, oh,
and the Oscar goes to. Well, Tess, like I say, it's been great. So thank you so much for joining us on PLT Behind Closed Doors, and to everybody for listening. This has been PLT Behind Closed Doors, starring the amazing Tess Daly. If you did enjoy our podcast, please do remember to subscribe and leave us a little review because it really helps. We'll see you all soon, guys.